This is, of course, another short story. This one's called The Last Tree. And this might be my last story of this collection. I'm not sure yet. Anyway, The Last Tree. Learning human language took me over 10 years. To this day, I still find it strange referring to myself as me, because for the first few years in the forest, there was no separation between me and other trees, or me and the fungi, or me and the animals, or even rocks. There was only the world. The I that you would call me began life in a forest long after man had moved underground. I grew from a seed, and as I did, I learned to communicate with other trees, and I learned how to live in the forest. I learned that my leaves would fall off in the autumn, but there would be regrowth in the new year. I did not grieve, I simply lived. And I learned that death would come to this tree body, but life would continue on. Life always continued on, in the forest as in the world. There are human ideas like the Akashic Record that talk about the hidden mythical memory of the universe. But like many things that humans talk about, they get them all backwards and confused. They talk about the memory of the universe like it is something mythical or magical and only open to those who are enlightened or chosen. But the universe does not hide itself from anyone. It is not like that. It simply requires being aware and interacting with the world around you. When I first encountered when I first encountered the humans, they took me from the forest and put me into a zoo. I think they called it an arboretum, but it was a zoo, regardless. I remember how amazed I was at the time with their religious ideas, with their amazing buildings, with their complex language, and how they were able to save me from a dying forest and provide me with all the nutrients I needed. I was so in awe of science. I was so in awe of them. Religious ideas were the most interesting to me because they seemed like magical, mystical insights, and they were one of the things that propelled me to learn human language. But as I learned language and religion, I lost my connection and memory of the life I lived before. I lost my direct experience of living in the forest and knowing what living felt like. And that is when it dawned on me that these amazing insights made humans lose their place in nature as well. The humans who took care of me in the zoo did not interact with me much. They simply provided me with what they thought I needed and communicated with me, crudely at first, that they were using their vast intellect to regrow the world after it had fallen many centuries prior. They had brought together animals, plants, insects, mushrooms, and more, and intended to rebuild the broken world after it had been deemed safe to return from underground. The humans had an odd way of seeing the world, often talking about how they were stewards or protectors. They saw themselves as the smartest and best of all. I do not want to diminish them, but this is an idea that simply would not survive in nature. I, as a tree, am able to regrow easily parts, and I'm able to live on simply light and water, while the cheetah is faster than all, and a rock needs nothing at all to live, and lives quite simply. Are any really any better, or just better suited to the world they live in? Is there really any one of us who can truly claim to know better than any other? It was this arrogance I feared would be the failure of the humans' project to regrow the world, and why I was certain that I would be the last tree. An ecology is not something that you can study and build. It is something that you can it is not something that you can construct. It is a living, breathing thing and has to grow of its own accord using its innate wisdom, or else it will simply fail to thrive. When I brought this idea up, most of the scientists laughed. They were the ones who had given me the nanotechnology to speak after all. A few of them understood what I was talking about and told me that I very maybe well very well may be right, that there may be some things humans do not know. But even these humans knew they had little chance of getting the other humans to listen to a tree. As the years passed, I busied myself learning about human culture and tried to find peace in my artificially created ecosystem in the zoo. But I was very, very unhappy. My days were predictable and boring, my nights temperature controlled. I knew that I had been away from the forest for so long that I would not be able to survive. But I dreamt. Every night, and even many days, I dreamt of a home I knew I could never go back to. The day was quickly approaching when the humans would release all the creatures and plants and try to rebuild the world. Like I said, I was skeptical. But like I said, nobody was going to listen to a tree. So the day came and I was taken out of the zoo and replanted on a bare spot of soil where the humans intended to rebuild civilization. The soil was dry and there were no microorganisms to help me gather nutrients, and I knew that there was little hope. I told Emily, the kind-hearted human who planted me, that I had my doubts, and she told me that she did too, but that no one would ever listen to her, and then she smiled. Another strange human custom that started in order to show fear, but evolved to show friendship in the human world. Then Emily left. I was free at last, but over the next few weeks, without good soil and good water, I failed to thrive. I was dying, and I knew all over the world the others that the humans had engineered would die too. And pretty soon the humans who thought they could control nature would die too. The humans understood this. I wish the humans understood this, that you cannot control nature. At times I hated them. I found them arrogant. But in the end, I pitied them because they had lost so much. But I was not worried. I was glad to be back in the forest, and I knew that even in death, life would continue on. Life always continues on.